This strategy is up over $18,000 based on one futures contract, or about 34% return in live results since September 2024. In today's video, we're going to be going over the full source code for this strategy. This is our NQ momentum strategy. If you want to get access to the strategy, just sign up to my newsletter below. You'll get the source code for it. We're going to be going over in full code depth, how the code works, how we developed it, and as well as some of the stats for the strategy. If you want to learn more about automated trading, algo trading, and how to build good trading systems, see the links in the description below. Without further ado, let's get started. So here in the screenshot here, I've highlighted our development and live results for this strategy. So we used the last 5 years to develop the strategy, 2018 until September 2024. And as you can see, that is highlighted in white. And then in blue, we have the live results up just over $18,000 based on one futures contract. This trades NASDAQ E-mini futures, so NQ, and that would be its basis. Next up, we'll go over the backtest results, and then we'll do the full code analysis on how the code works and how it was developed. So here is the backtest for the strategy. This is a Momentum NQ, and this is the strategy analyzer page on NinjaTrader. So I use NinjaTrader to trade live, to backtest my strategies, test them, and all that. It's my all-in-one platform for that. So over the full backtest, we can see its net profit, its max drawdown. So we have a net profit of 122,000, max drawdown of 27,000. That would be a return to drawdown of high nines, basically where you take the net profit divided by the max drawdown. And return to drawdown is a metric I use for all my trading systems. All of my trading systems must have a greater than 2.0 return to drawdown, both on the in-sample and out-of-sample period. So over the whole sample size, we have a really good return to drawdown. Once again, back tests are always the best case scenario. So anytime you're building good trading systems, at some point or another, your back test is going to look great. And you have to realize that that is the best case scenario and going live. As you'll see on the live equity curve, it's usually almost always worse. Sometimes it's better, but usually it's always worse. We paid over $2,000 on commissions. So this is based on the NinjaTrader lifetime commissions. Very similar to other brokerages, but it is important to model commissions on all of your strategies because in reality, when you start trading live, you're going to be paying commissions for every trade. So your system must be profitable after your expenses, which includes commissions, as well as slippage as well. So slippage here, we had 481 ticks of total slippage over that backtest period. I prefer using 2 ticks of slippage. Depends on the instrument. So for NASDAQ NQ, I recommend 2 ticks, but it can vary per instrument. So be sure to test what your slippage will be for other instruments. Sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less. Okay, so what else? We had Sharpe ratio 0.32, Sortino 0.67, which aren't great values. Usually, hedge funds, quantitative funds are looking for high Sharpe values. So why is it so low? Why is the Sharpe only 0.32? Well, this strategy, number one, it's not scaling, so it's trading one contract statically over the backtest. And when you only stay at one contract, what happens is, eventually your system will decay a little bit. It still may be profitable, but it will have more volatile periods of trades. And when you don't increase your contract size somehow or decrease, your Sharpe ratio will start decaying quite a bit. And this strategy has stopped development September 2024. So since then, its Sharpe ratio has started to decay. And also it's one strategy. So an individual strategy usually has high or low Sharpe values because it's focused on its signal, right? And its signal is going to decay over time. And without other signals from other diversified instruments or strategies, it's going to decay a bit, right? So that Sharpe ratio we're seeing it decay in real time. Still a profitable strategy, but it is decaying. So I know some of you watching here prefer using Sharpe, so that's kind of the explanation. Also, this is not a high frequency strategy. This is an intraday strategy, so it is, exiting on the session close. However, it is holding its position for multiple minutes, multiple hours usually. I think the average hold time, what's the average hold time? Average time in the market is 100, oh sorry, let me move my screen. Average time in the market is 134 minutes, so just over 2 hours. And when you're holding a position for multiple hours, your Sharpe will not be super great. because you're going to have volatility while you're in that position. So a lot of trend following firms, even intraday firms that their hold time is multiple hours and multiple days, are going to have lower Sharpe values because they are going to experience volatility while they're in that position. Once again, you can boost up your Sharpe with other diversified strategies and instruments, but when you're just looking at one, your Sharpe's not going to be that great, especially if you're not also statically increasing or decreasing the contract size. All right, some other stats. We got 481 total trades. This is since 2017 when the development started. 48% win rate. So the win rate more often than not is losing, but we have an average trade of $253 based on one E-mini contract. So our trades, mathematically, we do have a great edge where we're making $250 per trade, but we're not winning that often, right? We're only winning 48% of the time. Any other stats? We did average time in the market, which was 134 minutes, so just over 2 hours. Profit per month, $1,376. Longest flat period, 199 days, so just over, I would say 8-9 months where you were, flat, where you weren't making new equity highs. So that's a reality for a lot of strategies. The equity curve, we go to the analysis tab here in NinjaTrader. That was a screenshot I just showed you guys. So there's the equity curve. We can see that in 2021, it really suffered, which is interesting on a bullish market. And 2018 didn't make many trades. Same with 2019. So it really only picked up. 2020 did okay, but actually near the end of the year started kind of falling apart. And then 2022 really rocketed up and had some violent equity new highs, and it's continued till now. Now, if we look at the equity curve since it being live, which was September 2024 until today, it's actually not that smooth. Pretty actually rough, I would say. If we look at these some of these trades, I mean, because this is a very shorter time period, we see the volatility on this trading system. Like on this trade here, where it made $14,000 in one trade, and then went through a big loss period, and then once again almost made the same amount, and is at new equity high. So this equity curve looks pretty rough, and that's what you're going to see live with live strategies, because you're getting new data every day. There's, it's really putting your strategy to the test. And once again, this strategy is profitable since going live, but it's gone through some rough patches, and some of you may not be able to handle those rough patches, and you may turn off the strategy because volatility is one of your metrics. Personally, for me, it's not. It's if a strategy is losing money and it's been 9 months, I'll be taking it out. But yeah, some of you may not be able to kind of handle this type of volatility, and that's okay. But yeah, that's the strategy now. We can look at some of the trades, and then we'll go over the source code. So here's some of the trades on NASDAQ E-mini. I find that it's sort of mean reverting on the short side. So we can see this trade right here. I'll highlight this. Wow, that's a terrible highlight. Jeez. I'm sorry, guys. Can I move this? Let me see. Bigger. All right, that's fine. So we see a gap up on the cash session here on NASDAQ E-mini futures. This trades the U.S. equities RTH session, aka cash session, which is 9:30 a.m. Eastern to 4 p.m. Eastern, basically normal stock market hours, where you get sort of the most volume on the stock indices. So we see a gap up from yesterday, and it goes short, right? So it goes short on this gap up, and it sells after 60 bars in profit. So that's sort of a mean reverting play, right? You get a gap up, you're going against the grain on that, and so far from what the math and the back test tells us, that seems to work. We see another example here. We get a massive gap up and it goes short. That probably doesn't always work out. I'm sure there's lots of examples like here. We get a gap up and it continues, and that short trade ends up hitting a stop loss later in the day, it actually goes long. Actually, no, that's the next day. Yeah. So that's the short side. The long side, we'll look at the source code, but it's not as mean reverting. We get a gap up here, short stop loss, then it goes long near the highs of the days. Not the actual tops, but it definitely waits for a small pullback. But I think the long side is more trend following and the short side is more mean reverting. But I mean, I look at this trade here and this kind of looks mean reverting. It's sort of buying that dip. This one kind of trend following or kind of buying breakouts. So we'll look at the source code. Okay. So that's some of the trades. The settings for this strategy, it trades on NQ 4-minute bars. Once again, on the US equities RTH session, has a 250 tick stop loss and exits after 60 bars in profit. So once 60 bars have passed and you are in profit, it will sell. Now, because it's on 4-minute bars, it's 64-minute bars. And if my math is correct, that should be 240. Yeah, so 240 minutes, it will sell if you're in profit. So that's what, 4 hours, roughly around 4 hours, it'll be selling. Okay, so the source code for NQ momentum. I need to alt tab here. Here we go. Okay, so here's the NinjaTrader C# source code for NQ momentum, momentum NQ. We have our using statements, so any of the libraries we are using to run the strategy. Once again, this is in the NinjaTrader platform, so it is in C# code, which is a very widely used language out here in the world. But because it's using NinjaTrader, it's using all their kind of proprietary libraries, and that's required when you're building this type of strategy. So there's a lot of routines that you have to follow, like using the NinjaScript strategies namespace. It has to inherit from the strategy class. We call it a momentum NQ. Now, a lot of these variables are actually not being used, like last long, last short, break even triggered, EMA, and that's because I use software to generate strategies for me to test them quicker. And that software is called StratGen. You can see the links in the description. It should be the first link on how to get access to it. So this is sort of a template for a strategy, and using templates, obviously you can test faster. But the problem with templates is that you have a lot of unused variables. So is this a good source of code? No, I don't think so. I think this could be heavily improved and honestly stripped down. There's a lot of unused variables. But it does work. It's a profitable strategy. I could improve the code. Is it worth it? Am I going to make more money by improving the code? Not necessarily. So then we have our defaults, like the name of the strategy, how many days to load, slippage, and then the important stuff we have are, let me zoom in, sorry, my apologies. Our sell profit variable, which is set to 60. So that's our selling after 60 bars in profit. Our stop loss of 250 ticks. We can see that, we don't use a profit target or trail stop. Those are all set to 0, bunch of false variables. Our configure method, these are not used. These are actually for pattern detection, which this strategy doesn't use. You'll see later in the code it uses momentum. Profit targets, we don't use profit targets, but we do use a stop loss. So if we go up, our stop loss is set to 250 here. And we have a bunch of if statements. So we have if used %, which we're not using, so this is not used. If used currency, which is false, that's not used. Else, we're using ticks. So if profit target is greater than 0, it's not, so that's discarded. If stop loss is greater than 0, this is used. We call set stop loss calculation mode ticks, and then our stop loss variable, which is 250. So 250 ticks on NASDAQ. NASDAQ is $5 per tick on the E-mini. So that should be a $1,000 stop loss. And I can verify that by going to my trades and sorting by the exit name. Oh, it's a 1250 stop loss. Yeah, sorry. 250 times 5, yeah, would be 1,250. So it has a $1,250 per contract stop loss. All right, we have our trail stop code that's not used, so that's skipped. All right, next we have OnBar update. So anytime we get data, run the strategy logic based on our bar size. So our bar size is 4 minutes. So every 4 minutes, this method is going to be logically executed on the US equities RTH session. So every 4 minutes, as long as we're between 9:30 and 4. If we're outside of those hours, this isn't called. It's not aware of that data. All right, so we have our entry signals here. This is our long side. So on our if statement, we have if the momentum using a period of 14, 1 bar ago, is less than 50, and then now it's greater than 50, and the close is less than the zero leg EMA 50 period, we are going to enter long. We're not using ATR, so this is not used. We're going to enter long. We set some variables, last long and last short, but those variables are not used for any other trades. So basically, if the momentum is crossing above 50, a value of 50, and the current close price is less than the 50 period zero lag EMA, go long. So it's hard to say if it's a trend or mean reverting strategy. Once again, it's kind of both, because momentum crossing above 50 would be indicating some type of breakout, but also the close price has to be below the zero leg EMA 50 period. So it's looking for a breakout, but we definitely have to be sort of in a dip scenario to see that. Now for the short side, that's the long side. I can actually, oh no, this region is connected. Okay. So that's the long side. The short side looks like if the momentum is crossing above a value of 90 and the close price is crossing above the 100 period SMA, simple moving average, we are going to go short, enter short down here. ATR is not being used. So momentum on both sides, but the long side's using the zero leg EMA and the short side's using the simple moving average of 100. So we sort of have two conditions here for both. We're always doing a momentum check, and then we're checking some type of moving average. Exit signals, this is being used, my apologies. So sell profit, this is definitely being used. So exit after NBAR's profit, this is set to 60 for us. So what it does is it's checking if, it's checking our unrealized profit loss. And if it's above 0, so if we're in profit, right? And the bars since entry execution, so how many bars have passed since we entered, is greater than sell profit minus 1. I think I have the minus 1 because it can't be 0, so it has to at least default to 1. So we're at sell profit has a value of 60, so it's checking if more than 60 bars have passed since we've entered, and if so, and we're in profit, that's another check. We got to be in profit. If we are long, exit long. If we are short, exit short. We also have sell bars. Now, this does something similar, but it's not checking if we're in profit. It's just always going to exit. So this would be, sell bars is obviously 0, so this code is not executing, but if it was, it would always be exiting after 60 bars, regardless if we're in profit or not in profit. So we could be losing and it could just exit. That's not being used. We have reverse trade here. This is not being used. This is false. I think I'll make a separate YouTube video on this. So this would be like reversing if you hit a profit target or stop loss. Break even profit, this is not being used. So this would be setting a break even. Okay, and then we have all of our properties. So these properties allow us to see variables in the NinjaTrader UI. So anything with a NinjaScript property makes it visible. So if I go back to the strategy analyzer, see I can see stop loss here and I can change it if I want to, or exit after M bars and profit. I can change those values. So anytime you have a NinjaScript property, you can see those. I think you can hide them by overriding the display attribute, but by default it will display. So we have all of our values there. There's our sell profit. This is defaulted to 60. And then what else is used? Sell profit and stop loss, which is 250. And that's the end of our NinjaTrader C# code for NQ Momentum. So yeah, there we go. We talked about the source code, how it works. We talked about its live performance after development finish, so after optimizing and testing out of sample and in sample. We talked about some of the stats for the strategy, And once again, you can get access to the strategy by signing up to my newsletter below. As soon as you sign up, you'll get the access to the source code for Momentum NQ. And let me know in the comments if you found value in this video and if you're trading Momentum NQ or not. Personally, I'm not trading it because I have another NQ strategy that's actually doing better than Momentum NQ. So there's no sense in me replacing it, and I don't like a lot of NQ strategies. So, but this strategy is definitely waiting in the library. So, in the future, if my current NQ strategy starts decaying and I take it out, this could definitely replace it. But yeah, let me know if you use Momentum NQ, if you like building strategies like this, maybe you prefer swing trading strategies instead of day trading strategies. Let me know in the comments below. And yeah, we'll see you next week for a video. Peace out, guys. Bye-bye.